Did you know that your daily bread might be quietly impacting your health in ways you never imagined? Recent studies show that the average American consumes about 20 pounds of bread per year. That's a lot of loaves. But what would happen if you cut out that habit for just 30 days? The transformation in your body could be so impressive that many experts call this period a metabolic reset. And we're not just talking about weight loss. The benefits go far beyond the scale, affecting everything from your daily energy to your mental and emotion. Dr. Alexander King here, turning scientific knowledge into practical health for your life. The bread we eat today is very different from what our When I say this in my consultations, many patients are surprised. Modern wheat has undergone intense genetic modifications in recent decades to increase productivity and resistance to pests. The result? A grain with more gluten and fewer nutrients. In addition, the refining process removes the bran and germ of the wheat, precisely the parts that contain fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left is basically pure starch, and it doesn't stop there. The industry adds preservatives, emulsifiers, artificial colors, and sugars that turn this food into something almost addictive. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to eat just one slice? Common white bread has a glycemic index similar to that of refined sugar. This means it raises your blood glucose levels almost as quickly as. This glycemic roller coaster forces your pancreas to release large amounts of insulin to control blood sugar, which over time can contribute to insulin resistance and increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. In addition, recent research has investigated how modern additives in processed breads, especially emulsifiers like mono and diglycerides, can negatively affect our gut microbiota, that ecosystem of trillions of bacteria that live in our intestines and influence practically every aspect of our health. Have you ever wondered why you crave bread so much, even knowing it might not be so beneficial? Share in the comments if you've ever tried to reduce your consumption and what that experience was like. The first week, the initial challenge. Many of my patients report symptoms. Your body, accustomed to preferentially using glucose as fuel, now needs to mobilize different enzymes to more efficiently metabolize fats and proteins. This metabolic adaptation process takes a few days, hence the initial discomfort. It's as if you were reprogramming your metabolism, teaching it to be more flexible in relation to energy source. Scientists call this metabolic flexibility, the body's ability to easily switch between different fuels, depending on what's available. But don't be discouraged. Usually these symptoms last only 3 to 5 days. It's the period your body takes to begin the transition to a more efficient metabolism. At the end of the first week, many people already begin to notice. Second week, adaptation begins. The liver becomes more efficient at producing ketone bodies, molecules derived from fat that can serve as excellent fuel for the brain. Many patients report that, at this stage, they begin to experience a noticeable mental clarity, as if a fog had been lifted. An important change also occurs in the behavior of insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar levels. With fewer glycemic spikes, insulin levels stabilize, which can have profound effects on the entire metabolism. Lower and more stable insulin favors fat burning and reduces systemic inflammation. Another significant benefit that I observe in my is the improvement of intestinal health. The gluten present in bread can irritate the intestinal lining, even in people who do not have diagnosed sensitivity. By removing this possible irritant, the intestine has a chance to recover. The gut microbiota, those trillions of bacteria that live in your intestines, also begins to diversify. With fewer refined sugars and more fiber from other sources, I hope you are replacing bread with more nutritious options. The beneficial bacteria thrive. A recent study published in the journal Cell showed that dietary changes can significantly modify the composition of the gut microbiota in just 48 hours. Imagine what can happen after 2 weeks. In this phase, share your experience. Third week, benefits beyond digestion. By eliminating this potential source of inflammation, many people experience relief from chronic pain. This is because gluten can increase intestinal permeability in some people, a phenomenon known as leaky gut. When this happens, partially digested particles can enter the bloodstream, triggering immune responses that can manifest as inflammation in any part of the body, including the joints. Inflammatory markers in the blood, such as C-reactive protein, often decrease even without significant weight loss, indicating a reduction in systemic inflammation. Sleep also tends to improve significantly at this stage. With more stable glucose levels during the day and night, the body can more easily enter deep states of restorative sleep. Patients report waking up more rested, even sleeping the same amount of hours. Sleep architecture, the time we spend in each phase, also Many experience more time in deep sleep, an essential phase for physical recovery, and REM sleep, fundamental for memory consolidation and emotion. Another fascinating benefit is the change in taste. Without the constant stimulation of refined carbohydrates, your taste receptors become more sensitive. Naturally sweet foods like fruits begin to have a more intense and satisfying flavor. You may discover new flavors in foods that previously seemed bland. This recalibration of taste is a well-documented phenomenon. Studies show that our food preferences are highly adaptable and can change significantly in just a few weeks with consistent changes in diet. In this third week, it is common to observe decrease in body aches, especially in the joints, deeper and more restorative sleep change. In the perception of flavors, improvement in concentration and focus, fewer mood swings throughout the day, reduction in dermatological problems such as acne and eczema, improvement in allergic and respiratory conditions, in some cases, increase in physical endurance during exercise. Have you ever noticed a relationship between bread consumption and sleep problems or body aches? Your experience can help other people who are watching this video. Fourth week, the complete transformation. This means you are probably experiencing less compulsive hunger and a more intuitive relationship with food. Cortisol levels, the stress hormone, also tend to balance out. Many patients report feeling calmer and more resilient in the face of stressful situations. This is no coincidence. Stabilizing blood sugar levels has a direct impact on the production of stress hormones. A frequent report from my patients is, "Doctor, I didn't know I could feel." Many were so accustomed to symptoms such as fatigue, bloating, headaches, and mood swings that they considered these states as normal. Only when they experience life without these symptoms do they realize how limited they are. One of the most frequent reports from my patients at this stage is about emotional stability. The mood swings caused by the ups and downs of blood sugar become much less frequent. Anxiety tends to decrease, and many describe a sensation of brain fog that dissipates. The relationship between gut and brain is now well documented by science. A healthier gut, with less inflammation, communicates better with your central nervous system. The result? Better mood, more emotional balance, and even better stress response. Recent research in neuroscience has highlighted how our diet can directly influence brain neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, chemical messengers essential for our emotional well-being. It is believed that up to 90% of serotonin, the neurotransmitter associated with well-being and happiness, is produced in the gut. For some people in this fourth week, it is also possible to observe reduction in blood pressure and cholesterol levels, improvement in metabolic health parameters such as insulin sensitivity, increase in aerobic capacity during physical exercise, more regular menstrual cycles and fewer PMS symptoms for women, decrease in symptoms of reflux and heartburn, improvement in oral health with less gingival inflammation. Have you ever noticed how your diet influences your emotional state? Tell us in the comments if you have observed this connection. Now that you know the potential benefits of going 30 days without bread, I need to warn you about some common mistakes that can sabotage your results. The first and most frequent replacing bread with processed, gluten-free products. Many of these products contain other problematic ingredients, such as refined starches, added sugars, and preservatives. They can cause glycemic spikes similar to those of regular bread. A comparative nutritional analysis showed that many commercial gluten-free breads have a glycemic index as high as or even higher than regular breads. In addition, they often contain more additives to compensate for the lack of gluten in the texture. Another mistake is not adequately replacing carbohydrate. Your body needs carbohydrates, but preferably from whole, unprocessed sources. Drastic elimination without adequate replacement can lead to extreme fatigue and even hormonal dysregulation, especially in women. The thyroid, in particular, can be affected by very low carbohydrate diets for long periods. Adequate production of T3, the active thyroid hormone, depends in part on the availability of carbohydrate. Therefore, replacement with quality carbohydrates is essential. Increasing sugar consumption to compensate for the lack of bread is also a common mistake. Many people end up consuming more sweets, sodas, or processed juices, negating all the potential benefits. Not compensating for the lower fiber intake is another frequent error. Bread, even refined, provides some amount of fiber. By eliminating it, it is important to increase the consumption of vegetables, fruits, and other sources of fiber to maintain intestinal health. Finally, giving up in the first few days of discomfort. As I mentioned, the adaptation phase can be challenging, but it is temporary. Persisting beyond this point is essential to experience the true benefit. Have you ever made any of these mistakes in previous attempts to change your diet? Share your experience to help other people. So that you are successful in this 30-day challenge, I will share some practical and nutritious alternatives to replace bread in your daily life. If strong preference is to replace this, consider rice cakes with nut butter and fruit, quinoa porridge with plant-based milk and fruit, plain yogurt with homemade sugar-free granola chia seed, pudding with fruit and nuts. For snacks and quick meals, lettuce or kale wraps, sweet potato slices baked as a base for sandwiches, homemade seed crackers, baked vegetable chips, hummus with vegetable sticks, guacamole with tomato for spreading, homemade sardine or chicken salad with celery sticks. Accompany meals, mashed cassava or sweet potato. Note, cassava might need a substitute depending on the audience's familiarity. Mashed cauliflower or mashed potatoes could be considered. An important tip: plan your meals in advance. One of the biggest challenges when eliminating bread is the convenience it offers. Having prepared or semi-prepared alternatives in the refrigerator can make all the difference when hunger strikes and time. Remember also to maintain nutritional gain. Each meal should ideally contain. Based on my clinical experience and the reports of hundreds of patients, I can guarantee that it is worth trying. Remember, it's not just about eliminating bread, but about replacing it with more nutritious alternatives. The goal is not to restrict, but to expand your dietary repertoire and discover how your body can function optimally. The first few days can be challenging. The potential benefits are enormous. Better digestion, more energy, mental clarity, better mood, less inflammation, and even a new relationship with food. If you decide to accept this challenge, document your journey. Note how you feel at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the process. Take pictures if you want to record physical change. And most importantly, listen to your body. Each person is unique, and your experience will be personalized. Some notice dramatic changes right in the first week. For others, the transformations are more subtle and gradual. The important thing is to pay attention to the signs of your own body. This is not an invitation to vilify bread or create a relationship of fear with food. On the contrary, it is an opportunity to experiment, learn, and discover what works best for you. After 30 days, you can decide to reintroduce certain types of bread, such as naturally fermented or sprouted grain breads, and observe how you feel. Food awareness, knowing how different foods affect your body and mind, is one of the most powerful tools for your long-term health. This 30-day challenge can be the first step in this journey of self-knowledge. Thank you for watching. Until here. If this content was useful, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more science-based health information. Share this video with friends and family who could benefit from this information. And of course, tell us in the comments if you're going to accept the 30-day bread-free challenge, or if you have already gone through a similar experience. Your story can inspire many people. Until the next video, take good care of your health.